Good afternoon. It's May 29th. It's Memorial Day weekend, and my name is Bill McCamley. I'm the state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla with your legislative update for the day. As many of you know, the state has had a huge budget shortfall in the past year, stemming from a couple of things. The first is that the state made the decision over the past 10 to 12 years to really cut taxes back, personal income taxes, capital gains taxes, and corporate taxes, mostly on wealthier folks, in order to try to stimulate economic development, and it didn't work. And so now we are bringing in less money to the state government. And the second reason is that oil and gas revenues are a very, very big part of what we rely on in the state to spend money on things that we need, and those prices have been very low. As you all have seen, you're paying $2 a gallon for gasoline rather than $4, and that's great at the pump, but it means we don't have the money that we need to spend on programs. And when I'm talking about programs, what am I talking about? I'm talking about schools and teachers, I'm talking about cops, I'm talking about roads, and specifically today, I'm talking about veterans services. So the State Veterans Department has a program where they give out grants to local groups who help homeless veterans and those near homelessness with basic services, providing tents or showers or basic mental health services. And this year, because of that shortfall that I talked about, $23,000 is being left out of the local budget for Community of Hope, which is the group that does these programs here in Las Cruces. That's a real problem, but it's actually bigger because the Community of Hope uses that money to match a much bigger grant of $88,000 they use for these programs. And when they don't get this money, veterans don't get the help. And that's really hard for me. My father was in the Army for 25 years. He served 2 combat tours in Vietnam, and he was an officer, but he went through a lot of the same stuff. Even though we were good money-wise as a family, we never were in trouble of being homeless or anything. He had terrible knees from jumping out of airplanes. He was in the 101st Airborne, and he got lung cancer, and he had 2/3 of his right lung cut out. He was exposed to Agent Orange when he was in Vietnam. He had some really bad PTSD that he never really worked on until I was an older guy in high school, and glad he did, because it kept our family together, but these are hard. And he died almost exactly 2 years ago this weekend, So when I see this sort of thing happening, it is really frustrating and really troubling. And I'm going to say 2 things. Number one, as a state representative, I'm going to work in the future to make a tax policy that allows us to bring in the money we need to do things like help our veterans out. And number 2, that's great, but that doesn't really solve the problem this year. So a friend of mine, Peter Osorio, and a group, the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Club, has started trying to raise money to make up for this deficit this year. And they've both pledged separately to match any donations up to $1,000 apiece. And I'm pledging the same thing. This is not my campaign money. This is my money. And I'm not a wealthy guy, but it's Memorial Day weekend. And we like to talk a big game about honoring those who serve us. And this weekend is for remembering those who passed away, but we should also remember those that are here and going through some problems. And so I'm putting up $1,000 as well that I'll match to anybody else who is willing to put in a little bit of money. I'm going to put the online link to the donation page for this with this video. And I would encourage any of you watching this from our area who care about this issue to step up and really help us take care of those who protected us and are now going through some problems. So thanks everybody for watching this, and please have a wonderful and safe rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Thanks.